Hello and welcome to episode 7 of our FIFA 18 career mode with Sunderland, where we're rebuilding them in League 1. Now, first of all, before we get into all this, if you haven't seen the last episode, it's in the description below, like one of the top lines. If you're new here completely and you want to check out the whole playlist before you watch this one, which I'd highly recommend, obviously, for continuity, it's always a good thing. The playlist is also down in the description below, along with my, I don't know if that made sense, it's with my, there's my career mode down there as well, so if you want to check that out afterwards as well, then that's also down there. Anyway, since we last met, obviously, spoilers ahead if you haven't watched the last episode, we lost 3-2 to Everton. In the League Cup, we went down to 10, didn't really deserve it. I made a few errors, and I got what I deserved ultimately. But after that, we drew 2-2 with Burton, who obviously came down with us. I just want to make a point as well. The Championship season is now finished. Burton and Barnsley did go down with Sunderland, so I called that shit. I'm just saying. We then continued our brilliant winning run in. I can't stand this trophy. I've got a horrible feeling we're going to be in the final though, and it's a final. I can't really not take it seriously at that point. But we won 1-0. It was a complete rotated team yet again. Then beat Walsall 1-0, and that takes us up to Luton here. So there hasn't really been much happening. I was gonna, like I said at the end of the last episode, I was gonna have a big gap, but for one thing, I haven't really brought too much league. It's been quite a lot. I mean, we've had 2 episodes in the League Cup already, and I felt like I haven't really brought you a big league game yet. Obviously, it's only November and there's a lot to happen, but I haven't really brought you a top of the table clash. And as you can see by the table, it's very, very close at the moment between sort of the top 5. We win, we put pressure on Scunthorpe and Rotherham. Could go top, obviously, and also we pull away a little bit from 5th place, which was always helpful because, like I said, there's a bit of a gap. See, 3 points covering the top 5, and we're playing Luton today, as you've already seen. Well, probably the surprise package of all of it. Obviously, promoted from League 2. Certainly doing well for the promoted teams. Poor Accrington down there with 4 points. I feel like I didn't really help them too much by taking their best players. But anyway, so today's game, Luton away. It's one of those games that I'm sure Sunderland fans are getting stick for having to play, because Luton is a fairly obviously this is based on one experience of it, and it was particularly miserable because A, weather, and B, result. I did not enjoy Luton at all in any capacity. No offence if you're from Luton, but I just thought the place was a dump and the ground was a dump and the game was awful and we lost and it just wasn't fun. Anyway, this is the team since the last episode. Catmull, who got suspended obviously, has not been able to reclaim his spot in the team. We've actually gone with this, and as you see, we've got Captain Gooch, and I just like that term, Captain Gooch. Really love that. But anyway, here's our team. Braithwaite in goal, Henry, Hanlon, McNair still at the back. I've been considering pushing him forward into midfield, but Camps and Gooch and everyone's been doing too well to do that. Donatian's at right back. Watmore, who we're losing in January, one reminder, who's been brilliant, so it's making my decision making look great there. We've got Camps, we've got Gooch, Soro, Lalois, the bench, excuse me, pretty much the same as always, just with Catmull on it instead of whoever else would be there, like Camps or someone. And anyway, let's get straight into it. We've got set the ball because realism. Anyway, let's get into the game.
Should be a good game, this.
So here we go. We've started the game. Luton kicking off. 3rd versus 5th. It's only November, but still a big game. They've done quite well, so we got to be good. And they've not let us have the ball yet, which is very appreciated of them.
I've seen this manager so often.
I like having the ball. I would. Thank you. I mean, that'll do. I think that's a goal kick. Oh, what? Anyway, they've got the first real chance of the game. Here they get the corner in, and it's not been cleared. And is it Danny Hilton by any chance? Danny Hilton, isn't it? I don't like Danny Hilton. I think in this video you're going to hear a lot of me not saying things I don't like about Luton Town. I'm not a fan of a rival particularly either, so it's just I just don't like them. And Danny Hilton is the epitome of the reason why I don't like them, which I'm sure you'll hear more about at some point. We might have like a little, you know, at some point I'm probably going to have to reference my day in Luton. But we're 1-0 down, having not touched the ball at all. So let's see if we can get back. Oh, not brilliant.
That's great defending there,
I was hoping we could try and get an instant response, but maybe not. Anyway, like I say, no offence if you're from Luton. Just to point that out there. I mean, it's just a grudge, I suppose. We went there, me and my friend went there in November last year for the FA Cup. That gives a hint towards... Well, I mentioned I support Portsmouth in previous episodes anyway, so that's pointless me going around that. Yep, we went to the FA Cup game, Luton vs Portsmouth, first round. Are we going to go 2-0 down here? We are. I should probably concentrate a little bit. This isn't going well. Anyway, let's continue with our story time. First round FA Cup. We wanted an interesting tie. We wanted like a non-league team away, like some sort of park team basically, proper as low as you could get. Or we just wanted a home tie. Home tie are interesting tie. Especially when you're a club the size of Portsmouth, you don't really want to be in the first round of the FA Cup. So you want as interesting as possible, but we don't tend to get interesting games in the FA Cup, and we didn't get one again. Having only just got promoted from League 2, we didn't really want a League 2 away game. But me and my mate, we love the FA Cup, or we like the FA Cup at least, and we really wanted to go simply because we like going to the FA Cup games. So we went, and just the whole experience of it, it wasn't a good day. It really wasn't a good day. Like, hang on, we might get a goal back here. Okay, that was... shouldn't have said that. It was just one of those. If you follow a team's home and away, you'd know there's some are brilliant, and I've had a fair share of good away days. But you have every now and then you do have a stinker, and Luton just felt like a stinker. The place just didn't seem that great, and that some people might be thinking that's rich coming from someone that comes from Portsmouth, but yeah, it just I went round most of the main area of the town, or I gather what is the main area of the town as like a shopping mall and shit. But it was so horrid. It felt like there are places in Portsmouth that I just don't like going to simply because of the way they are and the dodgy people, and Luton just felt like a massive town version of those small areas, and it wasn't very nice. Having been to places like Oxford and Exeter, that generally lovely places, it really wasn't that great. Then we have the game, which let's ground first. We visited the ground first. If you've ever been to Luton, you'd know the away end. It's ridiculous, the turnstiles. It's absolutely ridiculous. You go through people's back gardens. It's bizarre. And it's just not. It's not a nice ground at all. I mean, imagine it feels special because it's an old school ground. I imagine Luton fans look at it and feel like it's special, but it just looks awful. It looks so disfigured. Why is it so disfigured? Like, it seemed like it was like you got like various different Lego towers. You know, when you, as a kid, building Lego, and instead of building like one proper house or one proper stadium in this case, you've just gone with a load of separate like brick or like buildings and just tried to shove them all together, and it just doesn't work. That was my comparison to it anyway. It seems disfigured. It was cramped. It was fairly It was fairly poor, just in general. Then you got the game. The game wasn't great. We ended up losing 1-0. First half we probably deserved. We went 1-0 down just before half time, if I remember rightly. We probably deserved that, but the second half I feel like we were by far the better team. We missed some quite good chances. Their keeper made a very, very good save, and it was just miserable. And you got their Godin sort of, I suppose, loud section in the corner that was just infuriating me. And overall, it was possibly possibly the worst away day I've had. Just as there was nothing fun about it. It's either that or Bristol Rovers on New Year's Day. But it's up there, and I don't think I'd ever want to go to Luton again and it was like a situation like where we were getting promoted. That's the only time I'd ever go to Luton again. So for me, for Sunderland fans, if you're a Sunderland fan watching this, it's one of those. It's going to be one of those where you realise where you are and you have, like I say, a sense of realisation. Have I got a penalty? I've probably got a penalty. It'll be one of those away days where you realise, oh crap, we're in League One. Away day similar, like Accrington will be. Bristol Rovers is another poor one. Bristol Rovers was on New Year's Day though, so that kind of made it even worse. Anyway, we've got a penalty. Let's see if we can get back into this game. We're going to put it low and right. Hopefully the keeper won't dive. He doesn't dive. We went back into the game. Anyway, that hasn't really explained much in terms of why I dislike Luton, but it was a story nevertheless, wasn't it? So anyway, that took most of the first half, so we always got that going for us. And we've wondered if we can get back into this game before half time. That would be great. Go on, Wawa. Go. Oh, it's not, I knew it would be blocked, but I was hoping the deflection would go for us. Yeah. Do people watch this? I'm curious. Anyone watch this? Comment below who you support, because yeah, that's. I would like to know. That would be quite a nice thing to. Bloody hell, that looked good. Bloody hell, we're back into it. Hold that thought. Duncan Watmore has just single-handedly brought us back into the game. Now he's doing a lovely dance. 2-2. Jesus, that turned on its head quickly, didn't it? Ironically, as soon as I stopped talking about real life, everything went better. Anyway, 2-2. This game's swung, isn't it? Jesus. Yeah. If you're watching this, leave in comments below. Who's your team you support? Leave some details. Are you season ticket holder? Or do you do away days? Are you just casual fan? I don't know. Is there a team you support for a particular reason? Is it not simply down to I was born here? I'd quite like to know. It'd be quite a good thing to look towards. Like I say, for me, it's half time, by the way, if you didn't tell, 2-2, just to break this up. Not brilliant, is it, the stats, but we're having most of the shots, I suppose. And we won't make changes. Anyway, I might as well get the ball rolling. As I've mentioned, support Portsmouth. Reason's pretty self-explanatory. I was born in Portsmouth. I've always lived pretty much 2 minutes away from Fratton Park, which is our ground in case you're that unaware. And I've stuck by them throughout, I suppose. That's one thing I can give myself, especially. Blimey, surely. Oh, that would be a lovely goal from Captain Gooch there. Yeah, normally, especially our sort of generation, the younger generation, quite often it's quite easy for people to sort of ditch teams. I've noticed it particularly when we were in the Premier League to when we got relegated to the Championship. There was a dip in people that cared. We went 3-2 down there. But for the most part, most people stuck by them. I stuck by them, and some of the seasons, honestly, were awful. That's why I can resonate with Sunderland fans a little bit. Hang on, we might have a... No, we don't. I can resonate with Sunderland fans a little bit, but the first, from League Two, literally from League Two, the first season in League Two, it was almost like this. It almost felt like a weird little adventure, and you never really considered that you might be in it for 4 years. I thought honestly at the time, I thought, okay, maybe we won't go up first season, but second season we will. Certainly by the fourth season, we lost in the playoffs semi-final in the third season, and by the fourth it was like, okay, there's nothing, no, we've got to go up now, we've got to go up, there's no sort of debate around it. Freddie's, oh, it's a good, no, god damn it. But yeah, there can't be many clubs or many fans of clubs that have been through what I've been through in my lifetime. Because literally I've been, when I was, my first season I remember knowing that I was a Portsmouth fan. I was like 4 or 5, and we won the first division, the old championship. Go on, Camps. Oh, damn it. Won the what was the first division, which basically was the championship, to get promoted into the Premier League. So that was I would say my first season. So including that, we won the league then. We had various seasons in the Premier League. We won the FA Cup. We played in Europe. We got to another FA Cup final 2 years later. In the same season, we got relegated and went into administration. Got relegated two more times. So I've literally seen it all. I've seen us beat Man United. I've seen us lose to Accrington Stanley, and it's Portsmouth fans have a weird thing when you think about it. In such a relatively short space of time, I've seen us, like I say, Accrington Stanley, I've seen us lose to Newport County. I've seen them beat us at home 3-0, and it's games like that you'd never forget, simply because it's a reminder of where you were. And are we going to go 3-2 down now? We're not. But yeah, like I say, right now, leave a comment saying who you support and why, or maybe you're just I don't know, some people are just football fans, I suppose. But yeah, if you leave who you support in the comments below. Anyway, we're concentrating on FIFA from now on. We've had story time. Can Watmore get his hat-trick? Also, while you're at it, leave in the comments, do you like things like this? Do you like me talking more about real life stuff instead of commentary? Because talking about what can happen on FIFA can be quite, I don't know, just weird, I suppose. So every now and then I might sort of do this. I might go on tangents about just different things. So yeah, got things to leave in the comments today. So be sure to have a chat, essentially. Anyway, we'll move on to the game now. We've got to make subs because Soro's a little bit knackered. I would take Watmore off, but I'm not going to. We're not gonna. Oh, Henry's got a knock. Oh God, I've got no. Actually, yeah, I do. I can. Wallace can go there. Right, okay, so we made 3 subs. There we go. Anyway, that's brilliant. But it's going to fall to Murray Wallace. Let's see what he can do as a left back. Okay, let's see what he can do. He's not really left back compared to Rico Henry. He's not built for beating players, but he's putting a good ball, to be fair to him. Watmore's header's gone a bit squiff. Right, go on, Wallace. Use whatever pace you have. Oh, I don't like it when I have to cut it. Okay, put the ball. Get the shot off. Okay, we've got a bit forward from the 3-1. Is that Freddie Sears again? It's always Freddie Sears, isn't it? Let's be fair. 3-2, and we've really turned this around. What a game. What a good game. I'm glad I've done this one now. Murray Wallace, what an audition at left back goal. He got an assist. And Freddie Sears adds to his already prolific campaign 10 goals. 10 goals in League One so far. Oh God, oh dear. I've hit the post. Right, okay, let's get rid of that. Oh, they're going to come back at a good block. It's going to give him this foul though, because I've got handball, and I should probably turn handball. Or saying that I wouldn't have had a penalty, would I? So swings and roundabouts, I suppose. This should be their last chance. I don't know what they're. Okay, no, they're not going to get a chance. And in fact, McConville's going to be able to carry this ball away. What to do? That's. Oh, they bowled that, didn't they? Never mind. I think that's going to be it now, surely. Yeah, that's got to be. Come on, come on. 2 minutes. Don't do this. Don't do this. Come. 2 minutes as well. Thank you. There we go. Jesus. Anyway, there we go. The comeback complete. 2-0 down after just 12 minutes to win 3-2 against Luton. To really put a stamp on the League One playoffs. As you can see, we deserved it on the stats, didn't we? Let's be honest. We had a poor start, but we deserved it. Yeah, on to the next games then. Really, let's see what results matter. Charlton won, so Charlton are doing alright. Scunthorpe drew, so we've caught them. Rotherham lost, so what does that do for the table? As you can see, we're second, and we're just a couple of goals off first. You know what did that to the goal difference is that bloody 5-1 defeat to Scunthorpe, which doesn't look as bad anymore. But as you can see, it's really Luton have slightly fallen out of it, but there's not that 4 points separating the top 6. I mean, there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go. Anyway, as for when will we next? I think it will be. Yeah, next game will be the one we've all been waiting for. Let's be honest, the one we've all wanted: Accrington and Stanley versus Sunderland. It's going to be a beautiful time. So yeah, I'll see you for that one. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said during the video, leave in the comments, who do you support? Why do you support them? Is there a story behind it? Are there any stories to tell from you supporting your club? I'd be interested to know. And like I say, if you like this sort of, it's basically like story time episodes, isn't it? If you like this sort of thing where I talk more about real life things, such as football, predominantly football with FIFA content, for God's sake. So, yeah, be sure to mention it. Be sure to say if you prefer this sort of commentary of the gameplay. Then, if you prefer that, put that as well. Be sure to check out what would have gone out the day before was the end of season 1 for my Can career mode. It's a relegation. It's a fight for survival, essentially a relegation battle. The last 2 games. See how we did, because the second season of that will start tomorrow or the next day, probably tomorrow. And I will say tomorrow. I'll try to stick to that. And it will be like a sort of a revival of a rebuild essentially of what the Can team is. So be sure to check that out. Like I said, if you're new here, the playlists for both my Can career mode and my Sunderland career mode are in the description. So check them out. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And like I say, I'll see you for the next one, which will be like I said, probably the most anticipated League One game there will be next season. Accrington versus Sunderland. Can't wait. Anyway, I'll see you for that. Thanks for watching and goodbye.